absolutely amazing. Well, I did it. I never thought I'd do this. I've seen all the Lord of the Rings movies in theaters. I never thought I would see them in theaters, ever. I never thought I'd see them. Oh man, I wanna jump for joy, but I also wanna cry, 'cause of how happy I am that I got to see them in theaters. And unlike the other 2 times I've done this, I literally just got back from the theater. It's very fresh in my mind. And that feeling of when you finish watching these movies and you you feel homesick. You feel homesick for a place you've never been. And never will go. But you feel so homesick. And I don't think there is any other story I've ever read, ever watched, ever listened to that makes me feel this way. There's such a longing for home in a place I've never been. And I've only experienced through movies and books. And it's just amazing. It was a little... So it's the theatrical edition, which the theatrical edition's 3 hours and 20 minutes or something like that, and the extended's 4 hours and a couple minutes or something. It was weird seeing what they'd cut out and what they'd left in. It was weird not seeing Saruman at all. They go to Isengard and pick up the hobbits, but you never see Saruman. You don't see him die. They cut out a bunch of other things. Mostly mostly short scenes, but they do help build the story, in my mind, help enrich it more. The third one's an emotional movie. Like all the movies, when I really think about it, if you want to see me, go through, the super highs of emotion, as well as, the super lows of emotion, watch Lord of the Rings with me, 'cause one minute I'll be, bouncing in my seat, and cheering, and the next I'm, bawling my eyes out. One thing so here's a couple things I noticed and thoughts I've had this time around. When Elrond comes and gives Aragorn his sword, gives him Anduril, something I noticed this time around, and they do such a good job with it. They do it so well. Aragorn's basically in his pajamas. He's basically in his pajamas. But in that scene, he still he's the king. He looks like the king, and he's in his pajamas. And just showing like the right of kings, the true king, he's gonna look like the king no matter what he's wearing. And just thought that was really well done. Oh, there's a couple things like with the remaster and everything that looked like when they're at Dunharrow and he's looking down the road that leads to the or just he's looking down the road that leads to the City of the Dead. He sees the king, the dead king. You can actually see him. And before you'd have to like be really paying attention to see him. But now you can actually just see him, which was really cool. Also the fell beasts that the Nazgul ride they look very good. Like they already did, but they look even better now. There were a couple of little things like that were pretty cool. Something one of my brothers pointed out to me. We always talk about Legolas and how he takes out a elephant all by himself. He pointed out to me, Éomer takes out two with one spear. He literally sits there watching this thing come at him, just staring it down, throws his spear, takes out the dude, and it veers off and crashes into another, and they crash to the ground. So technically you could say Éomer took out two elephants with one spear. So who wins? Does Legolas win or does Éomer win? I'd be tempted to say Legolas, but I'm also tempted to say Éomer, because like there's the epicness of Legolas. He climbs it and slices the ropes and all those things, but then there's Éomer who just throws a spear and things happen. Sorry, I've got my allergies have been acting up, even though some things are still frozen over. Where's the tissue box? Sorry about that. But yeah, man. And then this movie, the ending of it just gets I think from the moment where, like it kind of, yeah, when the coronation of Aragorn, I start to get like a little emotional, but when it comes to the "you bow to no one" line, that just gets me, and I start like crying, and I just keep crying till the end of the movie. Even after the movie ends, while the credits are going, I'm crying. It just, oh man. And you have this like mix of like happy and sad. A big mix of it. And so something I think I've always kind of known this, but something that really stood out to me this time around was when Frodo leaves, and he gets on the boat and he looks back and he smiles at them. We've seen him smile since the end of their journey. we've seen him smile a couple times and everything, but when he smiled before, his eyes were so dead inside. He was still broken, he just wasn't whole. And in that moment on the ship, when he's looking back and smiling at them, he's whole, because he's headed somewhere where he can heal, where he can be whole. And his friends know that too. They know that he's been hurting and all these years, and to see him, even though they're super sad that he's leaving, terribly, terribly sad, to see him actually smile, to see Frodo back, makes them very happy. Yeah. This is when I'm very glad to have read the appendices of Lord of the Rings and knows that even though Merry and Pippin didn't get to go, Sam did. Sam got to take the ships. Later. And just, man, the amazingness of these films, looking back on the last couple of weeks as I've been able to watch them, it just kind of reinforced the idea I've always had that there will never be movies like these again. Or at least I highly doubt it. They're the greatest movies of all time already happened. And they're the Lord of the Rings movies. And nothing will ever top that. And I think it's awesome and amazing that lines up with the books. The Lord of the Rings books are the greatest books of all time, in my opinion at least. And it just seems right that their movies are too. The movie adaptations are too, because they are the greatest movies of all time. Like, if you put a list together of like the greatest movies ever, second place, and whatever it is, like Lord of the Rings is in first, and then whatever you want to put is in second. They're not even in the same like solar system as each other. Lord of the Rings is just so amazing. And yeah, I've recently like watched Star Wars. I've recently watched How to Train Your Dragon and a couple other films, but it just nothing. And even though I love those films, absolutely love those films, nothing comes close to Lord of the Rings. And I don't think anything ever will. Man. Just amazing. And then the song at the end always gets me. Into the West. And yeah, goodbye. So that's the Hobbit films, but your sweet and weary head, night is falling. Just sleeping. What can you see on the horizon? Why do the white gulls call across the sea? A pale moon rises. The ships have come to carry you home. Man. A light on the water, gray ships pass into the west. The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began, and far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way where many paths and errands meet, and whither then I cannot say. Yeah. I'm probably just gonna sit here and think about him for a long, long time. Thank you to Peter Jackson and the cast and the crew and everyone involved. Thank you very much. And thank you to J.R.R. Tolkien for writing such an incredible story. Yeah.